everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive. If you love diving into amazing tales, crazy confessions, and heartwarming moments from Reddit, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. My wife left me when I was caring for my dying father. But when he made me a millionaire in his will, she came back crawling. I'm a 36-year-old man married for 8 years with 2 children. Along with this, I'm the only son of my ailing father. My dad is suffering from kidney problems for many years now, but in the last 3 years his condition has worsened, and he has to go for dialysis twice a week. Earlier, he was able to commute on his own, but over the last year, he has often asked me to accompany him. He is also growing weaker every day. I have made a routine for myself that I would be taking my father for dialysis every time. I don't want to leave him alone in this condition. He has to go for dialysis 2 days a week, so I have fixed Saturday and Wednesday. Saturday is my day off, so it's not a concern. For Wednesday, I got permission from my boss to leave early and then compensate for the remaining hours by working in the night after returning home from dialysis. I've been working at this company for 10 years. My boss has seen me as a hardworking and loyal employee. However, the problem was at home with my wife Ale, who is 34. When she got to know that I would be taking my dad for dialysis twice a week, she got upset. She didn't like it when I used to take him occasionally, but she never expressed her displeasure up front. Now that I had taken up the responsibility diligently, she could not stop herself. She said there was no point wasting my time on my father because whatever I do, he would never be impressed by me. Here's a little context. My dad owned a merchandising business. He was quite well off and had acquired decent wealth. He wanted me to take over his business, but I was passionate about something else. I wanted to get into technology. I was enthusiastic about coding and creating software. So after school, when Dad wanted me to take up some business or management courses, I pursued a software degree. He was still fine with that until I was willing to join his company. However, after completing my graduation, I started working for a renowned tech firm. Dad wasn't happy that instead of taking forward his legacy, I was working for someone else. He kept asking me to join his business, and I kept stalling it. After my marriage, Dad asked me one final time if I wanted to join his company, and I said no. Dad got furious and said he would give all his wealth to charity, and I wouldn't get a penny. I still didn't budge from my decision. You see, I was earning well even at that age. I bought a car and my own house at the age of 29. I was pretty confident that I would be able to lead a decent life even without his wealth. I told him that I didn't need his money and could build wealth on my own. Our relationship soured after that point. 5 years back, Mom passed away due to a cardiac arrest. It was devastating for Dad. You see, I moved out of the house at 17 for college, then got a job and started living on my own. The only companion Dad had was Mom, and losing her was the most devastating thing for him. That's when our bond rejuvenated. I started visiting him often and used to take my kids to play with him. Eventually, he stepped down from his company and gave it to a trust to run. My wife, Ale, was never close to my parents. Until my mother was here, Ale used to avoid visiting my parents, saying that my mother was too nosy in our lives and they didn't get along with each other. When my father announced that he would remove me from his will, Ale started openly criticizing my parents for being mean and evil. I insisted she stay away from my relationship with my parents, but she always stepped in and said it was something that was going to affect our future, especially our children's. I assured her that our and our children's future are secure irrespective of Dad's wealth, but she was not willing to understand that. Now, coming to the current situation, Ale created a fuss when she got to know that I would be accompanying Dad for dialysis twice a week. Initially, I tried to make her understand that Dad had no one but me. He has lost his parents a long time back, though he has an elder brother. He lives at the other end of the city and rarely visits Dad. Dad has become very lonely after Mom's demise, and in this condition I cannot abandon him. But my wife refuses to understand this. Of late she has made my life miserable. Every Saturday she comes up with some plans, either it is hosting a party at the house, deep cleaning the house, an outing with the children, or something as trivial as grocery pickup. I made her understand that she can plan anything she wants on Sundays because on Saturdays I have to take Dad for dialysis, but she continues with her plans and then later rebukes me for being late or missing it. I had to rush to my dad to pick him up. It's not just about Saturday. She does the same for Wednesday evenings. I had committed to my boss that I would compensate for the remaining work late in the evening or at night after returning from dialysis, but she always had a plan to trouble me almost every Wednesday evening. She would go out either to meet her family, her long-lost friends, or to attend some random party, leaving the children's responsibility to me. I had to juggle my work, cook for the children, feed the younger one, and meanwhile complete my pending tasks at my workplace. This was after a hectic day at work and at the dialysis center. I know it's getting long, but this is how miserable my condition is. Many times my dad suggested that I let him go to the center with the nurse because he sees me always in a hurry, intensely looking at my watch. After dropping him home, I don't even wait for a second and rush back. Even while picking him up, I ask him to be ready and come outside before I arrive. Dad has a full-time nurse and a caretaker to take care of him, but I still feel bad for not spending time with him. The drive from his house to the center is 30 minutes. Earlier, I used to enjoy chatting with him during that drive about the good old days of childhood, but as Aile's tantrums have increased, all I'm concerned about is rushing back home. Most of the time, I'm speeding through traffic, taking shortcut lanes, and overtaking other vehicles to cut down the drive time. This is the only time I get to spend with Dad, and I don't want to ruin that or stop it by asking him to go with the nurse. I also have some responsibilities as a son. I'm just not able to bear this woman any longer. Update 1. It is just getting worse every day. My wife is not leaving any stone unturned to dissuade me from attending to my father. Her point is that it is a lost deal. Dad had already removed me from his will and given his wealth to charity. I fail to understand her. Do we do everything just for profit and loss? What if someone's parents don't have any wealth or are poor? Do their children abandon them because they have nothing to offer? After listening to her tantrums for so many months, I finally told her that she was not going to inherit anything from her parents, so why does she visit them every now and then? Oh my God, she lost her shit at this and said my parents did a lot more than your greedy father. They supported me in everything. They are not like your father, who disowned you for not joining his business. My father would have never done that to me, so don't you dare compare my parents to yours. It was not just once. This type of argument is becoming a norm at my house, almost every Wednesday and Saturday after I return from dialysis. It is getting severe and uglier each time. Earlier, she used to fight with me alone. Now I see her yelling and shouting at me in front of the children. Not only this, I have heard her bad-mouthing my dad in front of my children and manipulating them against me and my dad. I intervened, which again led to an ugly fight between us. Aile's fights have become a routine for me. On the days when she doesn't fight, I feel something is missing. She becomes more aggressive the next day. I've almost given up on her now. I don't yell back or answer her. I just ignore her as if she doesn't exist. What else should I do? I cannot abandon my father just to please her. I don't care if he has kicked me out of his will. He did so because of my own decision. I refused to join his company. He was forced to give his hard-earned business to the trust. It must have been so disheartening for him. That company was like a baby to my dad, and he had to donate it to someone else. He had all the right to disown me because I had hurt him. I sometimes feel that karma is biting me back because I had hurt my dad. On the other hand, Dad is becoming weaker. He is barely able to walk on his own. He needs support to step down from the car to the dialysis center. Sometimes I feel that my wife is right and that it would have been better if Dad had a nurse to accompany him, but I just cannot bear it. I've always been a bit selfish. I know it's wrong, but I keep trying to justify myself. Maybe it's because Dad is the only family member who cared for me when I needed it. Mom's demise hit him hard, and he had no one but me to rely on. I've been seeing him going through this and have felt the pangs of my own selfishness, especially when I see him in pain. Update 2. After our recent fight, I feel like I'm about to have a mental breakdown. The endless arguing is becoming unbearable. Sometimes I feel that if I go to my dad's house and never come back, it would be better. I could live a peaceful life without any stress. I'm tired of fighting with my wife. I've had several sleepless nights and have started losing interest in my work. I feel mentally exhausted, which is affecting my productivity at the office. I cannot share this with my dad because he already feels bad about me. But all this is becoming too much. What should I do? Is there a way out of this mess? Thanks for tuning in to today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.